Good morning, my friends. Thank you so much for joining me today. Wherever I'm catching you in your day, I hope that you're having a great one. We are going to do a June garden tour, and this is my second garden tour that I'm ever filming. My first one having been my reveal, where I revealed everything I've done this year with building my garden boxes and whatnot. So this is my first like growth video, and I'm really excited to show you what everything has been doing. It is June 20 something. I don't actually know what the date is today. June 20 something, and I've had a lot of growth. Still not as much as I think I'll have when I show you in July, but quite a bit. And I'm actually really feeling very blessed because here in upstate New York we've had a very cool spring, and that's about to be over. But I'm excited about the cool spring because it gave a lot of stuff the opportunity to establish itself before it gets really hot, and it's about to be really hot. It was in the 60s over the weekend, so really chilly, which my sugar snap peas, for example, really loved, but it's going to be 80s if not 90s all week and probably for the rest of summer. We do here in upstate New York get to be like, I'd say like 82 is a typical day, but we do get into the 90s. Very rarely do we have a 100 day, but we have before, so it's possible. But I figure before we get into the garden stuff, let me show you the chickies, my chickie girls, that's what I call them, because they're outside full time now, and I'll show you how they're doing. They're inside their coop. I haven't let them out yet, because I have to like feed them and get them new water, and I'll do that after I'm done filming this tour. But let me show you. Well, good morning. Good morning. How are we today? Hello. I think I have a rooster, and I think it's this one. These two barred rocks are both named Connie because I can't tell them apart. But this one has a much bigger, shoot, what's the name of the thing on top of it? Comb. A much bigger comb than this one here. So this one is temporarily named Conrad until I can tell. They're going to be 6 weeks tomorrow, so I'm sure I'll be able to tell soon. Ow, excuse me. Yeah, he bites, so that's what makes me think. None of the rest of them are aggressive with me at all, but he's aggressive with me. Stop it. Stop. This one's my favorite. This is Buffy, and I love her. She's very sweet. This one is Amelia. Amelia, good morning. Hello, baby. Hello. Like I said, this is Connie. Sweet Connie. And then this is Agatha over here. Huh. Good morning, Aggie. Good morning, baby. Ow, stop. Oh my goodness, their coop's looking rough. I need to come in here and clean it out a little bit. Conrad, are you gonna bite me? Good morning. Good morning. Yep, and Agatha, this one has already been sitting in the roost, I don't know. I still need to figure out all my chicken terminology, but the boxes where they lay their eggs. Agatha's, this one. Oh, stop biting me, Conrad. Has already been hanging out in there. See, look at how, like, he's very vigilant and, like, protective and always watching, always looking, which is, like, good for a rooster, I think, right? But I can't have a rooster here, so I'm going to let him hang out for a little bit longer, and then I'm going to have to figure something out. Because I have neighbors all around me, and none of them would appreciate me having a rooster, so. Okay. All right. I'll let you guys out soon. All right, so let's get down to business. Oh, and here's Benny. Good morning, Boobab. Good morning. Let's get into garden stuff. Oh, I'm so excited to show you guys what I've got going on. So here are my lilies. If you recall, this lily, this is my third year with this baby. It's almost as tall as I am. I'd say very nearly as tall as me. And look at all the flowers it's gonna give me. And it's right by this window. This is a living room window, and it's right by where I sit on the couch. So you bet your sweet tushy I'm gonna have that window open, and I want the fragrance of the lilies to just float right in the living room window while I'm watching TV. And then this is also a 3-year-old lily, but it's stunted because I accidentally had bricks sitting on top of it. And when I pulled the bricks away, it was there but struggling, so it's just stunted. This one I just planted this year. This is my first, this is a Lavender Beauty Phlox. And it's the only one that survived out of the 6-cell tray that I started, the only one that germinated. And it has taken such a long time to do anything. It's so little, but I just actually discovered this morning, I was listening to another YouTuber, what's her YouTube? Honey Hill, I think. I love her, I think she's so cute. And she had mentioned that phlox need slightly acidic soil, and I don't think my soil's acidic, so that's probably why it's such a baby. And then here I have a poppy, and look at how stunning it is in the middle. Oh, come on now. Work with me here. Wow, this isn't wanting to focus this morning. Well, anyway, it's got like a pretty maroon color on the inside. And then these are my green beans. The foliage is still very small, but the vines are pretty, I mean, they're getting there. They're pretty tall. They've climbed a good bit. So they are taking a little while, I think, because it's been so cold, but they're doing fine. This is a Cosmo, and this is a Cosmo, and a lot of you probably saw that Floret released a mini-series on flowers and cutting them and stuff. And Cosmos and Dahlias, you're supposed to go in and clip off the very middle stem above the toppest layer of leaves. And so I did that, and it worked. I've got a bunch of new little offshoots coming out of the middle, and that's what she said that was for, so that you could like have more growth than you would if you hadn't done that. So, and then still all along the front here I've got onions. Some of them are bigger than others, some of them are just little punies. Oh, and then it's hiding, but this guy right here, this is a Hens and Chicks poppy, and I hope that it does something, even though it's being like super overshadowed by this big poppy. Another poppy. This one had kind of grown up in the green beans. I thought that was cute. Another poppy. Everything is really wet right now because we had an unexpected rain last night, and I know that you guys know the excitement of waking up and realizing that it rained when you haven't had rain in a long time. It's such an exciting feeling. I literally squealed this morning when I saw that it had rained. And then here we've got, like I said before, these are the onions that I got from my local garden store, and then these are the ones I started from seed. So super exciting there. These are my Sugar Snap peas. This one is taller than me, so the rest of these are almost my height. And they're doing it. They're doing the dang thing. I've got some flowers here, and let's see, there's one. There's a bunch on this one. This one's got one. So I'm really hoping that they turn into peas before they die. Because, well, what I'm hearing from everybody is that Sugar Snap peas don't like the heat, right? And so it's like, oh, you got to get your spring harvest, and then once they die back, you're gonna like replace it with some other thing that you can harvest in the summer. Like, so we'll see what happens. I've never grown them. They seem like they're doing great. If they do die back, I'm gonna replace them with more green beans, which is fine. And then I'll do a fall. I'll sow them a little bit later, maybe August, and see if I can't get a fall crop. But I'm hoping I get at least a little something. And then my carrots are exploding. They look so good. I'm thrilled with them. They're very tall. I mean, like, here's my hand for comparison, right? Like, they're pretty tall. So grow, grow, grow. And I've got the St. Valerie, which is just an orange, and then I've got the, I can't remember what it's called, like the Cosmic Assortment or whatever. That's like different colored carrots. So I'm so excited for those. Over here, these ones that are just kind of in a jumble are just sweet peas, the flowers. They did not get tall enough to make me think they're going to do anything before it gets too hot. They're little. And that's fine. I was just doing them for funsies, so if I don't get anything, that's fine. These are my Blushing Susie, Black-Eyed Susan vines. Those two, and then the two over here. These two. And they're very slowly, but they're doing it. So I am still holding out hope that I'll get something from those. All right, and then over here, so over here is my cottage garden situation, and it's doing really well, but I did learn something this year. It's my first time doing anything like that, trying to do like a cottage garden. I definitely spaced things out too far. At least that's how I feel now in June. So I will comment on this again in August and see if I still feel this way. But from from what I'm seeing now, I tried really hard to like give everything room to breathe. I know that like you want to space things out so that you don't get disease and like yada yada, and we're very humid here in upstate New York, so you know, I want to give everything space to breathe, but it's so spaced out that I'm not getting like the cottage feel really yet. I really wanted to come over here and it just be like this beautiful like flowery jungle, and maybe it will be. Maybe I just need to give it some time, but I definitely think I want to, next year, I want to plant more intensely, closer together, you know, and see how it does. But I'll go through everything real quick. This is my bachelor button, and all along the back here are my sunflowers, and they're doing it. They're doing the dang thing. Black-eyed Susan that my neighbor gave me. A boobop. Did I grow you? Did I grow you? No, I don't think so. A poppy, a California poppy, an aster, which is looking so healthy. I can't wait. I don't have any aster flowers yet. I can't wait to see what they look like. Black-eyed Susan, another poppy which was doing really well, but now it's looking like it's really struggling. This was the Amazing Gray. I put a picture of my first bloom on this one on Instagram. It was a very pretty picture. California poppy, which I got the sunset mix California poppies, and so far they're all orange, all of them. Black-eyed Susan, some more bachelor buttons. These ones are white and pink. Another California poppy, another Black-eyed Susan, another aster, another Black-eyed Susan. This is a random echinacea that my neighbor gave me, Black-eyed Susan. This is a very tall bachelor button that hasn't given me any flowers yet, but it's working on it. It's got some little buds going. Black-eyed Susan, which is not looking very healthy. Ooh. And then another echinacea back there. Okay, moving on to my berry bushes. So this guy is so big. It's huge because like here's my fence, right? And I've got like a standard chain link fence, and it is taller than my fence. And I'm excited because these growths are new. This has grown even taller this year than last year, and that's exciting for me because, little quick backstory, when I was young, we moved around a lot, and there was this one house that we lived in when I lived in Kentucky, and it had probably 15 to 20 very mature blackberry bushes that were, I wouldn't say quite a story tall, but close. Like they were, I'm bad with like depth perception and like measurements and proportions, but and plus I was a child, but I gotta say they were like 8 feet tall. I mean, maybe that's an exaggeration. I should ask mom and dad, but they were incredibly tall. And as a child, I have blackberries tattooed on me because this is such a precious memory. As a child going in to pick out blackberries, and there were bunnies living in there, there were snakes, there were all sorts of different bugs. I have a June bug tattooed on me for the same reason, because the June bugs were so big and so fat from eating the blackberries that they would just slowly bzz, 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 and then they would just like doink you in the forehead. They were big fat little dummies, and it was so magical. I felt like a little princess. And so if I could get this whole fence line to be big, lush, you know, raspberries and blackberries, I just think that that would be so special. And this bush is loaded. It's gonna have tons of berries. This one is a different variety. These are golden raspberries, whereas these are just the regular red ones. These are so good. They taste so good. And I've got a bunch of them coming too. So that's exciting. This one branch in here, I ordered some proper snips from Home Depot, and they're gonna come in the mail tomorrow, I think. And I'm gonna cut this because I don't know what's going on. It's like dying for some reason over here. So I'm gonna snip that off. And then I have a blueberry here, and it's trying, but again, I didn't realize that they needed like acidic soil, and I don't think this soil is acidic, so it's trying. This one has given up. Here's my one blackberry bush that I have, and it's definitely like tripled in size than what it was last year, but look, what is going on here? This guy is like, and it's got such a thick, strong base. I really don't know what's going on. I don't know why it's so sad, but it's sad. But I'm just gonna let it do its thing, see what happens. A raspberry. I'm leaving the spot for a blackberry, a raspberry, spot for a blackberry, raspberry, spot for a blackberry, and then these are all raspberries, kind of alternating between red and golden, because all of these raspberries that I'm going down the line and showing you here are runners that I've propagated from the OG plants that I was just talking to you about. And then I laid down weed barrier and I've mulched, and I'm just not done with it yet. We're gonna buy border to go along here, and it's gonna make this whole berry patch look so aesthetically pleasing in my backyard. All right, moving on to the main garden. Got a poppy in here. These are dahlias and they're doing great. Again, I don't know if I should have put so much in one grow bag, but here we are. I did what she told me to do, and I went in and clipped out the first like top stem or whatever, and it does have like new growth coming in, so that's cool. And this is my mint. Of course it's exploding. Mint does that. This is another dahlia, and this is probably a better way for me to show you because this one was better established. This one I started with you guys in a video, and it's looking really big and really healthy. It's got a super thick like base there, and I went in and you can see where I cut the top off right above this big set of leaves, and it has given me all of these pretty, really healthy looking offshoots. And all that's doing when you do that is giving you a better chance at a more bountiful, like, you know, flower display, I guess. You'll get more flowers doing it that way because you'll have more offshoots. Here's my spinach and lettuce, which I'm gonna have to, it's massive. It's about to struggle with as hot as it's gonna get, so I'm gonna have to plant that somewhere else. And then this, my rose bush has given me a rose. Very exciting. This one has not gotten very big. I'll show you the other one when we get around the garden. It's huge, but it's doing it. It's doing a thing. I can't wait for that to climb, climb, climb. These are celotias. They look very, very good. Oh, look, a little baby one. Why is my camera not focusing today? Come on, do your job. Do your job. I don't know, I stopped recording and looked in my settings to see if I could figure it out, and I can't. So I wish you could see that better, but it's so cute. And then these are my Brussels sprouts, and they are looking so big. I'm really hoping, I don't know how the heat will impact these, but they're so well established that I'm hoping that they keep doing their thing. These are my Proviana Zaminyas, and they're looking really big. I'm so glad that all three of them's doing well. These are my blue disc African daisies, and they're looking great, very tall, very tall. And then asters in the middle here, also looking very healthy. Bachelor buttons in the back here, which, you know what, I'll go over the back rows from the inside. And then I had 3 calendula not make it, so those spots are empty, but these calendula are looking good. These are zinnias. That's a poppy. Oh, it must be a mother of pearl poppy because this looks very pink to me. Excited to see that. Here are my peppers. Also, I have some little baby echinaceas. These 2 didn't make it, but these 3 are all doing it, which I'm not expecting to get anything this year. I think that's a next year situation. I have a baby's breath. This one didn't make it. And then look at this one. Look, I love it. I think baby's breath is just so beautiful, so delicate. They look so nice in flower arrangements. So you're supposed to succession sow baby's breath. So I'm gonna probably plant another one here and maybe dig, like cut out another hole and put one here. But in terms of the peppers, I haven't done much to them because I wanted to talk to you about them. These are my banana peppers over here, and they're quickly catching up to the other peppers that I started way before them. However, here's my plan, because if you notice, they have little baby peppers coming in. See that there? However, this plant, this one that I just showed you, is probably maybe not quite a foot tall, maybe about a foot tall. And this one I would say is my tallest one. These other little babies are even smaller. And to me, although they do all look really healthy, that's not tall enough to let them start giving me fruit. And they're all trying to give me fruit. oh gosh, this one's loaded. So what I've decided to do, I'm gonna go through, not now, but later, I'll go through, pick off all of those little fruits, and I've been doing that, but I wanted to show you, so I've let them stay. I'm gonna pick them all off and give these guys an opportunity to get bigger. I don't know how big they're going to get because this bed doesn't have as much soil in it as I want. This is a 12-inch bed, and we've probably got 5 inches here, so the soil is not deep. The roots probably aren't going to be able to get that deep. I don't know how big these guys are even going to get. So I've decided I'm going to wait until July 12th. And July 12th is going to be a busy day for me, but I'm going to tell you all about that in a separate video. But July 12th, it gives them like 2, almost 3 more weeks to grow. And I think they're really gonna love, they may also be stunted because we've had such a cool spring. So I think 3 weeks of this really hot 80-degree days we're about to get will really help them grow. And then once they are a little bit bigger, I'll let them start giving me peppers. I'm ready. I want some diced bell peppers in my eggs in the morning, y'all, but I want my plants to not struggle. I mean, look at how little this guy is. This guy's little. He's not ready to start giving me peppers. So I'm gonna encourage them to grow more, and then I will let them start giving me peppers, including my banana peppers over here, which I cannot wait to make some chorizo and cheddar stuffed banana peppers. Y'all, you better stay tuned because I've got some garden to table recipes coming your way. And then here are my cucumbers. Here are my zucchinis. Big difference from the last time you guys have been in my garden, and so exciting. I think I'm going to, I have a vision. I hope it works. I want to buy, I don't know how to explain it. They're like cattle panels, but the holes are smaller, and they're just a square. They're not like this like long panel. I've seen them at Home Depot, and I want to make 2 A-frames. I want to put one leaning here, put one leaning here, put one leaning here, and put one leaning here. So basically I'm gonna have like 2 A's, if that makes sense. And I want to encourage them to kind of grow up those because I don't have a ton of room in here for them to, they're gonna get all tangled and confused. So that's my plan. I'll show you when I do that. Moving on to what I'm the most proud of are these tomatoes. Look at, I mean, do you remember when I showed you last? They are huge. They are so big now, and it makes me so happy. Oh my goodness. Now here's the situation. These are my sweetheart cherries, my black cherries, and then I've got my Thornburns, my Martina Roma, my super sauce. I'm forgetting, there's another one that I'm forgetting, I think. I don't know. Basically this, let me back up. This bed is my indeterminate bed, and this bed is my determinate bed. So the reason there's such stark difference in their growth and size is because I have been like religiously coming in and you're not going to find a flower on these babies. I come and pick them all off. So, and that's why they're getting so tall, and I make sure I pick off all of the little offshoots and things like that. And I've been picking off the offshoots on these too. But I Googled it, and although I was getting conflicting answers, I mostly read that if you come in and pick off the flowers on determinate varieties, you are decreasing the amount of tomatoes you're going to be yielding overall. And I don't think they're an unhealthy size. They're definitely smaller than these, but they're much bigger than when I put them out here initially. So I've left. I mean, there's a ton of flowers. They're everywhere. And I've made the executive decision to leave them. I don't know. It's just like, I feel like it's so conflicting from what I've been taught to do, but I am still going in and picking off these little offshoots. Let's see. Here's one right here. Like, I've been picking these off, trying to keep on top of that, and I think that that's helped. Oh, here's a big one. These guys. I come in and I pick these off, and that's helped, I think. But yeah, I haven't picked off any of the flowers at all. I'm just nervous. I don't want to do anything to cause any issues with my Roma tomatoes and my super sauces, because that's the whole reason I'm growing tomatoes this year, is to try out canning. Pizza sauce, tomato sauce. I want to do a big batch of tomato soup to freeze, yada yada, etc. So, you know, that's the plan. And then my oregano in here. My basil's looking a bit thin because I just came out here yesterday and snipped a whole bunch that I dried in the oven. And then these are my lemon basils, which are taking such a long time to do anything. All right, over here I've got a zinnia on each end, and then these are all poppies, which I was really hoping, because I've got so many that are like ready to do their thing. I was really hoping that these would have bloomed for you this morning, but alas, maybe because of the rain. And then back here I've got more celosia, which I think is so funny because look how different they look, but they're the same. They're all the same. I don't know what that means, but. And then, oh guys, look at my little chamomile patch. It has exploded, and I'm even about to get some chamomile. Let me see. I've got some buds on there, and it's so, I love it. It's so soft. Very cool. I've never ever grown chamomile before, and I'm stoked. And I grew it from seed. Woo. These are my Blushing Susie Black-Eyed Susans. These are looking much bigger. So here's the difference. These are so much bigger, and I started these ones indoors. And the ones that are over there, I direct sowed. More sweet peas that aren't gonna do anything here in a second when it gets hot. Here's my other rose bush. It's so much taller. That one's barely clearing the raised bed. This one is literally probably almost 2 feet tall. And it's also giving me not only one rose, but look at all the buds. I'm about to have a bunch of roses, which I have not really tried to do anything with the roses because I just want them to do what they want to do naturally. They'll climb over the years. As long as they live, I'm really not worried. I wasn't really looking to get roses this year, but hey, I'll take it with a little blessing. Very cool. My strawberries have been doing really well. However, some little snot of a bird has been coming and eating them. You can even see here, this one's been pecked at. Which, to be honest, has been fine because I've been feeding the ones that have been getting pecked at to the chickens, and they love them. They really, really like them. So that's whatever. What do you guys always say? Like, you chicken owners, it's really not wasting it if you give it to the chickens. So, and then back here we've got my bachelor buttons that are incredibly tall. Like, here's the 12-inch garden bed, and this is easily 2 feet. They're very, very tall. My California poppies, look at, they're all orange. I didn't get any red or yellow ones at all. They're all orange, but they're starting to struggle a little bit. They're not looking as good as they were before. And so if they do die off, because again, I'm still learning, I don't know what they do, and when it gets hot, if they die off, I'm gonna put something else there. I'm probably gonna put something else there anyway, to be honest. And then these are tomatoes that I had 2 separate neighbors gift me tomatoes. These 2, they were all so small, they were all like little babies. These 2 are exploding. This one's hanging in. And then these 2 I was really excited about because he was like, yeah, I got the seeds from my uncle who brought them over from Italy, and they've been in my family for like 100 years. Do you want to try and save these 2 plants that I have? Because they were not in good shape. I was like, yeah, give them to me. And although they are definitely much bigger than they were, they still don't look great. So I don't know if I'm gonna get anything from those, but it's okay, I'll try. So yeah, I just want to do a little spin here because I am so enamored with this garden. It brings me so much joy. It's indescribable. And the morning sun and the birds that I'm sure you can hear over my yapping, oh, it just brings my heart so much joy. All right, so I've already told you one thing that I want to do differently this year, or next year, and that is I want to plant my cottage garden area more intensely. So we talked about that. There's something else that I want to do differently next year, and let's go talk about that right now. Hi, Boop. Hi, baby. Okay, so here I planted some stuff around the shed. I didn't plan to do that this year. It just kind of happened. But it's cool. My neighbor gave me all these daylilies, and they are about to do their thing. Very exciting. Very good. They've all lived. None of them died. In fact, Benny trampled these two, and they came right back. I hear daylilies are incredibly resilient. And then over here I've got all echinacea that she gave me. It's this neighbor. She gave me a bunch of stuff. Very nice of her. And so I've got all these echinaceas. Here's what happened. So this baby, and this baby. Those are my hollyhocks. I started those from seeds. They are tiny, tiny, tiny. So small. And there was another one here and 4 more here that have been trampled by Benny, eaten. There's chipmunks that live underneath here. So they've been eaten by chipmunks, and I know that they have because I've seen it. I've watched out my living room window as the chipmunks have eaten them. So here's what I'm gonna do differently. Here's what I learned. I preached and preached in all of my garden videos earlier this year how I want to be more careful with my timing. I don't want to start things too early, especially tomatoes. Like, I want to really stay on schedule. And so you guys know that I had a whole garden schedule. I showed it to you guys in my notebook several times. Here's the thing. I was so obsessed with starting things on time that I went to the public market, and they had a couple of days where they just exclusively sold seed starts. It was like a special thing that they were doing. And it was like a special thing that they were doing. And I was jealous. I was so jealous. I was actually kind of mad. I was like, wait a second. I was looking around at all of the people who were out there buying these seed starts, and I was like, you mean to tell me these people who are doing a fraction of the amount of work that I've done this year are going to have these plants that are super mature and are going to provide for them a lot sooner than my babies that I started from seed? And I was kind of mad. I was like, that's not fair. And so what I decided was, starting your seeds on schedule and not starting them too early is important if you don't have the infrastructure to support them when they get big, because you have to up pot sometimes more than once. You have to have room for the things that you've up potted, and you can really run into issues if you have too many things and they're too big and you don't have the room for them. However, this year I've learned so much, and I have developed a really good seed starting system. You guys have seen it in previous videos, and I feel really good about the stuff that I have and the situation, the setup that I have for myself. So next year I am going big, and I'm starting things, not all things, but a lot of things much sooner, because I wanted hollyhocks so bad this year. Hollyhocks and my blue disc African daisies were probably top of the list of flowers that I really wanted to have this year, and I'm not gonna get hollyhocks. If those 3 don't get eaten by chipmunks, my season's too short for them to grow full size and give me flowers. It's not happening. But they were selling semi-mature hollyhocks at the public market when I went, and I was like, what the heck? So I'm definitely gonna go through next year and alter my plan completely. I'm not going to start everything really soon because I still don't have room. Like, I'm still not starting my tomatoes sooner than I'm supposed to. In fact, I actually think I'm going to start them a lot later next year than I did this year, because I had too many and they were too big. But like my hollyhocks, for example, my blue disc African daisies, some other flowers, my peppers, I think I'm gonna start those a lot sooner than I did this year and see what happens. However, I do want to say that I'm not being too hard on myself about it, because I did also get things in the ground really late this year because I didn't have my raised garden beds. You guys know that it was a struggle and a half to get my raised garden beds, and I wasn't able to plant things like my sugar snap peas. I should have planted them way sooner than I did because I didn't have my raised beds, you know? And so everything did get in the ground really late. So I think that probably has a lot to do with it. But that's what I've learned. I think next year I'm gonna plant my cottage garden more intensely, and I am going to start certain things a lot sooner indoors than I did this year so that they can be more mature when I put them outside, hollyhocks being one of them. I'm heartbroken that I won't be getting any of those this year, but that's okay. What have I said from the very start? This year was a huge year of learning for me. I've learned so, I could write a book about what I've learned this year, and so all of that's a blessing. All of that's going to help me in the future. I don't regret any of it, and like I've said from the beginning, I'll get what I get, and what I get will be a blessing. So it's all fine, but that's one of the lessons I've learned, and that's something that you're gonna see me talk about more in the future, especially in the spring, next spring, winter, spring. Well, anyway, thank you so much for hanging out with me while I give you my June update on the garden. I can't wait to show you July because I know that everything's going to be so much bigger, and I will probably start getting some veggies because besides lettuce and spinach, I haven't really been getting any veggies yet, and I can't wait because then we can start talking about preserving, and I can start giving you guys some garden to table recipes, and that consumes me. That's all I think about are the recipes that I'm going to share with you guys. So stay tuned for that. If that sounds like something you'd like to see, please consider subscribing, give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a great day. Bye.